So still the same rules: respect, correct and ventilate the facade. The same installation rules apply everywhere. The handling is the same. Don't slide it, lift it, carry it this way. Sometimes you see the guys with the plank over their shoulder and they're walking down and the plank is going like this. Okay, yes, you cannot put, if you put it over your shoulder, it will bend. It does, you know, it will bend down like this. However, when you start walking and you start doing this, that puts extra forces in and the thing might snap. Same thing, cover, protect it from efflorescence and water. Okay, there's various tools available. The shears, forget about it if you're going to become installers doing it. That's handy for health and safety reasons and for somebody who's doing 1 or 2 jobs. Probably the best tool you're going to have for cutting and trimming this will be the chop saw. You call that chop saw here?
Cedral.
Cut off saw. Cut off. Why is it called a cut off saw?
Why do you call it a chop?
Chop, 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 because you go down, down, down. Yeah. Cut. That's not a chopping effect, huh? Okay. Yeah, the chop saws, that's, you know, change the blade, fibre cement blade, yeah? And with this material, I'll probably guarantee you that 1 blade will do you for your career, because this is a medium density material and we'll break it inside and you can see it's not as hard as the Equitone, okay? So it's a different material. It won't do the same as Equitone. So don't expect to put it on 80-metre tall buildings and stuff like that, okay? Without loads of extra fixings in it. Okay, same blades. I forgot to show you these yesterday, but make sure I show you what these actually look like and you can take the reference numbers off them, yeah? These are by far the best jigsaw blades and they're not widely expensive, okay? I found the pack, actually it was in underneath a box on the table this morning. Okay, yes, if you're doing 1 or 2 jobs, like we done yesterday, you can use the standard blade. Same thing, make sure you're cutting, you know, on a solid base. Clean this exactly the same way, just clean off the dust. Remember the cloth we had yesterday with the 1 swipe clean off? Easy. Health and safety, exactly the same. Same reasons. Now, we do ask to make sure that the thing is ventilated as well. We have 2 systems. You can either have an adjustable bracket system like this. Now that can be a galvanized section as well as a wood section, or you can have a system like this which is a non-adjustable system where you have horizontals running first. Now just to let you know on sizes, if we're using a 50mm wide batten, a 2-inch 50mm wide batten, we normally put these in at 1.5 metre centres. Now I would nearly think that if you were using your high tensile steel at 30mm, your top hat which is a 30mm standoff, you'd probably get to at least that, or maybe 1.8 metre centres. Because that's going to be a lot stronger than a 50mm piece of timber. Yeah?
We know it as a small set, it does rigid as it's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have your kinks and your bends in it, yeah, exactly. Same thing as before. This is very architectural. Houses are not really done this way, they're done this way. Okay? So I would suggest you probably stick to the 1 size batten or metal frame when we're doing it. Okay? Expansion joints. We don't need to go through. This is why I'm trying to tell you to forget. No. Because the plank is T&G'd, what we have a clip system that I'll show you in a minute. So the plank isn't actually fixed directly to the frame. There's always a little bit of movement in there in the framing system. To be honest with you, this is never usually used on aluminium because that's the lower end of the marketplace. So it's usually used on galvanized, which it moves a lot less, or on timber, which virtually moves the same as fibre cement. So if it's with timber, it moves exactly the same thermal expansion rates as fibre cement. We wouldn't even have to put in stop and go points. But with galvanized steel, if you keep your length of your rails to 3, 4, 5 meters, that moves very little, but the movement is taken up in the clip system. And we'll see that in a little while. And when you're going sideways, you can lightly butt joint them together if you wish. I don't mind. Maybe for visual effect you'd like to have a little bit of a joint. I don't care. We can either butt finish or leave a 2 to 3 millimeter joint. I would leave a little gap at the ends, at the corners where the trims are, okay? Just for any movement in the building. So basically what we do is we fix our insulation to the wall between the battens, need be. You run your vertical supports, framing out around the windows, of course. Be careful, make sure you frame out around the windows. Perforated profiles at the bottom, which we see, over the windows. And then we use a starter profile and a corner profile. This is fully accessorized system. And if you use the accessories, you just have straight cuts to worry about. Okay? The starter is by far the best. If you put that in level, everything else just click, 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 click in. I'm afraid John is made unemployed when we're working with this system because there's no need for a support rail. We start from the bottom and work up. What is important here for installation is that the bottom of all the starter profiles and the corner profiles at the bottom remain at the same level. Some people have gone and put this on first and then found that this comes down, sits on the top, and you see the edges, the white edges of the material down here. That's important. So we have a starter profile here which interlocks with the material. You start cladding up the wall. I'll show you how to do that. And the window, we have profiles for around the windows, and we have the windowsill. And what's important on the windowsill, like I said yesterday, is that there's a turn up at the side of the windowsill. Probably this is the only accessory that would have to be got if you're renovating another house, because the existing windowsills aren't going to be long enough to come out over it. I believe from what I've seen, a lot of windowsills over here are like done in brick, yeah, or ceramic. And sometimes what you can do is get what I've seen done is a simple metal one that sits over the top of the other one, and sometimes just gets fixed into the face of the window there like that. Okay, but just make sure it has an upstand in elevation, that it just has an upstand at the end. Okay, which is easy to do with metal. Just continuous. So battens at 600 centers. If you're sitting on the coast, it can come down to 400. Double up or use wider battens at the corners just for ease of fixing. I'll show you that. When it comes to using the timber, okay, you have termites and everything here, so preservative treatment of the timber to whatever the local standards are. What I would strongly suggest is that the timber is fully dried before you put the fibre cement on it. If not, the preservative will actually soak into the back of the Cedral, and you'll end up with staining on the face. Minimum size of battens, this is the one you're concentrating on here. The minimum size will be 60 mil batten. Now 60 mil I believe is not a standard size here. The next size up, I think somebody told me, was 76. 76, use 76. 76. It's going to be a lot cheaper to use a 76 than it is to go and buy a 60. Okay, 60 is the minimum, 76 is perfect. Yeah. We protect with EPDM strips on the battens, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then we can fix to aluminium and galvanized sections. Okay, there is screws available to do that. That's not a problem. Here you can see here that even though, see, if that aluminium frame is moving, because it's only fixed in one spot, everything moves in one way, so we don't need sliding or gliding points. However, when you are fixing to metal, it is harder than it is fixing to timber. It will take you a longer time. Okay? So the normal lap, if you're using it in a ship lap effect, will be 30 mil. However, we're looking at, you can either use a nail gun system, but the screw is a lot easier to control. Using manual tools is a little bit more difficult. We have coloured screws, and we'll show you them in a minute. And if we're on the wood effect, like with timber, you know when you cut timber and you expose the end grain and it gets really, really wet, you get that little bit of temporary water staining because the end grain has absorbed it. Something similar with this material. So there is a sealer that if you do cut the wood effect ones that you can touch up to stop any water getting in and staining the edge. There's a full set of profiles. Internal corner, joiner pieces, external corners, starter profiles. There's that one I spoke about yesterday that's used at windows stop profile. So if you were going down the wall and you wanted to stop in the middle of the wall for some reason, there's a nice trim profile just to finish it at the end. There's a number of tricks you can do with things, and here's the click. Okay, so you can see how it all interlocks there. These are the clips. I'll just pass these around. These are the clip systems that we use. Yeah. The big one goes down and the small ones go up. And it's labelled Cedral, so when you put in the clip you should be able to read it. Yeah. We're trying to make it easy for everybody to do it, that they don't do it the wrong way around and stuff. Okay? So basically what happens is the clip actually holds both panels. It holds the one below it and it holds the one above it. So there's two clips facing up that sits into the groove, and there's one that faces down here, fits over the tongue. The panel is completely free to move with this if it has to. Okay, that's it there being fixed there over the panel. Okay. If you both joint them but together, you just use one clip. If you want to have an expressive joint, you have to use two clips. Okay? I would suggest you just both joint them together. This is the clip. And what we have done is we have changed from the posi drive head to a star head, because some people are a little bit trigger happy when it comes to this, and they were just eating out the screws and wearing out the bits on the gun the whole time. Each pack of screw comes with a bit from us. So when you get the box of screws, you actually get the bit attachment in the box. We use coloured screws. I think there's only one left here. Just pass that around. We use coloured screws where you have exposed screw fixings, and normally where you'd have the screw. To use these is that you start at the bottom, and when you get to the last one at the top, you cannot get the clip in and hide the clip. Or sometimes you'll have to cut a plank to fit it in, and then you would just use the coloured screws there just to hold it in place. Alternative to that, if you're using it on a ceiling or on a soffit, you usually need screws to start it off and screws to finish it at the end, and everything in the middle will be clipped in. But these are actually done where you don't have to pre-drill the material. The material is medium density, the screws will drill through it and have a cutter to make an oversized hole. So the panel is always free to move. Okay? Easy to replace. If you get a broken panel, which can happen, you trim 4mm off the top. Where is it in? Okay, remove the plank, put 4mm off the top, push in, push up, in and down, and everything then locks in place. That one plank, you can argue, is not as strong, as secure as the other planks, but because all the other planks above it and below it are also clipped as well, they're also offering resistance to anything to happen to this one. But it's a way of actually doing a repair that nobody would ever know that there was a repair done. Okay, full set of accessories and trims available with the system. There's the profiles again. There is another one here we'll concentrate on, which is the head of the window. That's the starter, and we have one for the head of the window. Because it's on a clip system, You don't want to be seeing clips at the bottom. So if you use the trim, the corner trim up the sides, and then you use this one across the top, the window is nicely framed out and the panels are fully supported without seeing any screws in them. Okay? We can use Cedral, or there's another material here called calci. Not just in a horizontal pattern, but we can use it in vertical patterns. Basically, you can do anything with this material that everybody around the world is doing with wood plank. So you can start playing with patterns like this. But when you're into vertical use, the issue becomes you're now into a horizontal frame system, which means your cavity has to be behind that. So for vertical use, you'll probably end up with a slightly bigger cavity space. So what you have here is a mixture of small planks and large planks. The small ones you will cut yourself, and you can arrange them in such patterns like this. You can start playing with the patterns. You asked about using different color rivets and stuff. Here you can use different color panels, planks, different texture planks to give a different look. Going around tight curves, you can use a lap system to go around really tight curves. Of course, with a colored fixing in it. That one shouldn't even be in the presentation. No one ever does it. You need a batten at every 200 millimeters. With the Cedral click, which is the Cedral here, simply we can use either an angle, or we have this new profile here. So basically you put on this profile, it supports the weight of everything, and you just click with the clips into place. However, what happens with this is at every floor level or every 3.6 meters, you will put one of these in to carry the next row up. Okay, that's it in place there. That's two drying in, dark one and a light one. But you can see the clip can be used sideways as well as, and yes, it can also be used on ceilings as well with the clip. Excuse me. The clip system is strong enough to hold it into a ceiling system as well. Okay, that's just a taster of it. Excuse me. That's the taster of the material. There will be a launch, a proper official launch of the material.